When the protest started, we got in touch with all our councils across the country, and we wanted to know what was going on in the field. We were monitoring. And so they were giving us information about the treatment of the media by the security forces. And I think it was a bit, maybe a coincidence that the very first person that appeared on the list of those that were brutalized by the police happened to be from New Central, Bernard Akede, who is also a friend of mine. So when I saw his name as number one among those journalists that were brutalized, I just smiled to myself. So the next time I spoke with him, I said, Bernard, are you registered with Nigerian Union of Journalists? He said, I'm trying to do that now because he saw the NUJ stand up for him. So I think that that should be a lesson for everybody here. We should stand together. Because it has been said that if you want to understand the level of freeness in a society, you understand you have to look at the level of freeness of the media. If the media is relatively free, then you can say to some extent perhaps that the democracy is a little bit free. But we have seen the level of oppression and repression of the media in this country. In fact, if going by reports, journalists in Nigeria are among the most challenged the world over. And the intimidation and the harassment of the media, of journalists, stopping them and preventing them from practicing their profession, is among the highest in the continent. So many of them have been killed. So many of them are arrested and incarcerated. So what you have, and you ask yourself, and this is an indication of the shrinking civic space in the country. So what you're seeing really is what I'll call the liberalization and democratization of intimidation and harassment of journalists in this country. What do I mean? In those days, it used to be within the purview of perhaps the police and maybe the DSS. Whenever they have a disagreement with certain people in the media or certain media organizations, to be the ones to carry out actions, repressive actions against them. But nowadays, it has been liberalized. The governors have gotten into the act. So you write anything that is critical of a governor, a civilian governor for that matter, the next thing is that you are picked up and you are locked up somewhere. You write something that is critical of security forces, whether the army, the police, maybe an IG somewhere gives order, and then they pick up a journalist. The same thing at the level of the military. So everybody has gotten into the act of intimidating journalists and the media. And that absolutely is unacceptable, and we have made it very clear to them that we no longer tolerate that situation where people can no longer express their opinion. It's a fundamental right. One of the major rights, the first Bill of Rights, that people have a right to hold an opinion and to express an opinion. But Barrister Farotimi said something which is very true. You must understand the context under which you are operating. You must understand the nature and character of the state itself that you are confronting. But the reality, truly, and let me, that brings me to something. When this protest was to take place, the government was panicking, we know. They were calling people like Ene Obi, said. But there was something, a thread that ran across every single one of them. I can't remember any one of them saying it was illegal or illegitimate to do a protest. Not one. From the Senate president to the governors and the rest, they didn't want it. They didn't like it. They were afraid of it. Because even while the build-up to that protest was going on, we were being told that all manners of rich people and their families were flying out of the country. You go to the airport, that's what they will tell you. So somewhere along the line, they know what they have done. They know the damage they have done to this country.